Hello everyone, welcome to the Logical Fallacy. My name is Sean and welcome to another video. Now today we're going to be reacting to another theory video, a food theory, which we haven't reacted to yet. We've only done game theory, and that's it, I think, actually. I think that's it. So we're going to branch out to a food theory because this one caught my eye. Is coffee is soup? No, it is not. I'm going to talk about why, but I want to hear his arguments first. This has turned into a debate. I'm tired of my food being misclassified. Coffee is a drink. It is an energy drink, in my opinion. Or at least, let's see what he has to say.
All right, so that covers game theory for the next couple weeks, unless anything last minute pops up. Moving on, food theory. Let's see, we've got Crystal Pepsi in the works. We've got radioactive bananas. What's going on for next week?
Open week.
Open week.
People on TikTok are making mashed potatoes out of Pringles.
Of course they are. Oh, that sounds miserable. I like that. I want to cover that.
The sad thing is, and this isn't exactly sad, I feel like this is actually how their meetings go. This is great, actually. I would love to. I would love to get a job. I want to be a part. I feel left out. Like I want to be a part of this Zoom meeting. Like, can I just put myself here? I kind of am. I'm right here. I'm covering Dan. Sorry, Dan.
That, but let's not.
I'm in this meeting now.
A kitchen show.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of kitchen stuff lately. Anything else?
Yeah.
Anyone?
I have an idea. No.
Dan, haven't you and
No,
your wife been
Jason.
arguing about something?
So we've been having an argument about
Damn.
whether or not coffee is soup or not. She says it is soup. I say you don't drink soup.
Okay, first off, you do drink soup. Like you can ladle soup. It's just broth, right?
No,
But
you
yeah,
slurp
that's the
soup, you drink coffee.
Campbell's made a whole thing about.
Is this the entire video? It's just them behind the scenes? Like, this is just the video, guys. This is just them talking, arguing. We are getting a behind the scenes look at how it works, how a food theory is developed, and they thought that would make a good food theory, which I agree with. That's pretty cool. But no, this isn't probably the full video.
About like drinking soup.
What type of soup would it be? Are you saying it's a bean soup?
No, I'm saying it's hot bean water.
The beans aren't in the soup.
It's not beanstalk.
No.
It's not like chicken. It's not like beef.
Okay, I think we got our episode. Amy's chugging her bean broth right now.
Don't say that!
Honestly, that was probably the best intro to a theory video ever. Top 10. That was awesome. But I definitely disagree. No. Don't mess with my coffee.
Internet, welcome to Food Theory, the show that gets asked all the time how we come up with episode topics, and, well, you just saw it. That meeting at the top of the episode was exactly what gave rise to the video that you're watching right now. Our head editor, Dan, was having a nerdy debate with his wife, and so we decided to stick our noses into his business and settle it once and for all. Because that's what you do when you make online content. You monetize your personal life.
Oh,
So
yeah.
back when this channel first launched, we covered what makes a sandwich a sandwich. That simple question sent us on a wild goose chase through court rulings, international tax law, and legal loopholes to ultimately find that the definition of a sandwich in some areas includes burritos, pizza, even chicken wings. Yep, you heard that right, chicken wings, which could never be considered a sandwich by any reasonable person ever. Yet there it was, defined as a sandwich by certain Colorado tax laws. But you see, those are the absurdly high stakes that we're dealing with in episodes like this. For as dumb and random as questions like, is coffee actually bean soup might seem, decisions around these definitions actually impact your pocketbook, as well as the bottom line
Do
for
they?
restaurants and the government.
I know they do.
The legal definition of coffee can lead to high-stakes legal battles. In 2014, a pair of people sued Target because they had been charged sales tax for their to-go order of coffee. Why would they have a problem with that? Well, California has a sales tax exemption for certain products, which include, quote, coffee and coffee substitutes, tea and cocoa products. And yet, here was Target charging them the sales tax. Seems like Target was clearly in the wrong here, right? Well, then you get to the tricky part. Under California.
Can you imagine being someone that annoying in life? What a bunch of jerks. You just go and you buy your coffee and you're like, it's charged me like 35 cents in tax for my $6 coffee? This is outrageous. It's only against the law. What a bunch of jerks. Like, what a waste of time.
California tax law, you're charged different tax rates depending on whether you're getting hot or cold food. If you're just getting cold food,
Okay.
say a sandwich to go, you pay a lower tax rate. If you're getting something hot, like say a hot bowl of soup, then you pay a higher tax rate. But if that wasn't weird enough, it gets even stranger. If you're getting multiple food items, suddenly that becomes a meal. And if there's any hot food product in there whatsoever, then the entire thing is taxed as a hot meal. So what does any of this have to do with
You're taxed differently based what? Our tax system is weird, man.
coffee? Well, that California tax code lists coffee as an
Oh, never mind. This is in California. That makes sense.
example of a hot food product. By its inclusion in a meal, it transforms the entire thing into a hot meal and gets it taxed higher. Cold sandwich, tax exempt. Hot coffee, tax exempt. Cold sandwich plus hot coffee, suddenly you've gotten yourself a hot meal and both parts are getting taxed at the higher rate. It's like when you multiply two negative numbers to get a
So I have a very, very, very easy fix for this. Leave California. Nothing against people who live in California. It's just if you're tired of paying the high tax rates, like we know that California has one of the highest tax rates. If you don't like it, move. A lot of people are.
positive. Eat two tax-exempt food items together and you get to spend more on taxes. In the end, Target won the case. As the court said in its opinion on the verdict, the exemptions that may or may not apply to different food products are, quote, exceedingly closely regulated, complex, and highly technical.
And then the judge looked at them and was like, wow, you guys are the scum of the earth for bringing this case to my attention. How dare you? Goodbye. Goodbye.
Matt Penn said in his opinion on the verdict is dumb, but can case law help us settle our head
Yes.
in domestic debate? Well, looking deeper into the legalese
Good
around the
day, sir.
classification of soups and coffees, what immediately becomes clear is that tax law seems much more concerned with how the coffee is served and how you order it rather than what's actually in it. For example, many states have sales tax regulations that say if you go to Starbucks and pick up one of those pre-made frappuccinos that come in a glass bottle, you don't have to pay sales tax. Whereas if you went to the barista and asked him to make you a frappuccino made with the exact same ingredients and had it served in a plastic cup, then you would be paying sales tax.
But one's hot and the other one's really cold and not as good, honestly. Plus, Starbucks, and this is going to be rather controversial, isn't my first choice. Like, honestly, if you want good coffee, go to the most localist, nice, aesthetic coffee shop you have. Most places have them. You just have to look hard enough. And most of the time, you don't even have to look hard. Like, Starbucks is a generic shop who has really overpriced coffee, who most people just go because they're everywhere. They're a chain. They're simple and convenient. But if you actually go to, and you get to support your local economy. We have a local coffee shop. Their coffee's probably way better than Starbucks. I know. I drink it. It's good. There you go.
And then you have Pennsylvania, where brewed coffee that comes out of a vending machine.
We're only
normally
5
is
minutes into
taxed,
this
but
thing.
It's not taxed if it comes out of the vending machine in a cold bottle. So it seems today we need to be focused more on the culinary definitions of these food preparations rather than the legal ones. So from a culinary perspective, is coffee bean soup? Is it vegetable juice? Is it bean broth? Is it something else entirely? Well, if you look, all of these classifications are made up of a first word that describes the food type and a second word that describes the liquid form. So to get our answer, let's
Matt Pat's getting into some real lore. He's getting into sentence or word structure. Wow.
tackle one of these at a time. Right
Okay.
out of the gate, though, it's time to tell our head editor, Dan, the words that he's always wanted to hear. Hey, Dan, can you come into the booth?
Yeah, hey, what's up? You got good news for me?
Dan, you're right. Your wife is wrong. Coffee is definitely not bean soup.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Booyah!
But it's not for the reason you think. Not because of the soup part, but because of the bean part. See, coffee beans aren't actually beans. Just like peanuts aren't actually nuts.
No,
and
they're not.
Bears aren't actually bears.
Okay, a bit of a technicality, but I'll take the win.
The word bean actually has a very specific definition. Within the flowering plant family of Fabaceae, otherwise
seed?
known as the legume, pea, or bean family, there are several genuses whose seeds are classified as beans. If you're not part of
Nice.
that specific group, then you are not technically a bean, and
Good.
coffee is not part of the
Mr. Bean's Holiday is a classic, guys. If you haven't seen it, see it, guys. It is amazing. That's a random tangent.
club. So for your wife to say it's a bean soup, she is technically wrong. It may still wind up being a soup, we're gonna get to that in a minute here, but it's definitely not a bean soup. Though,
Okay.
might I suggest not making a big deal of that tonight at dinner? Dunking on your wife for being wrong is rarely a good decision.
I appreciate the advice. I'm just not going to listen to it.
All right, now back to the editor dungeon, please. This narrative conceit's getting a bit tiring to keep up. There's plenty of restocked coffee down there for you to inject as you see fit.
I prefer the IV bags.
Okay, so if coffee is a plant, but it's not beans...
I will
then
take
is it
one,
a
please.
vegetable? Well, also no. Well, an actual bean would be a legume and therefore a vegetable. What we call the coffee bean is actually a seed taken from the fruit of a coffea plant. The fruits of these plants, which are known as cherries or berries, contain 1 or 2 seeds that we then call coffee beans. And just to make matters even more confusing, those coffee cherries, not actually a cherry for similar taxonomical reasons. Let's just leave it at coffee beans aren't beans, they're the seeds of the coffea fruit. So that's the first half of what coffee actually is, but what about the second half of our classification? If coffee is a liquid made from fruit seeds, does that then make it a fruit juice? I mean, that's what pomegranate juice is after all.
I mean-
Pop those seeds like nature's own bubble wrap and
And also, if you get into frosted coffees and frappuccinos, does that change the entire definition? Like, that surely is not a soup. It's not a soup, guys, because it's not hot, and it's not really like, there's also other stuff mixed into it. So if you just drink straight hot coffee, that's the only thing that makes it a soup, right? I feel like there's some inconsistencies in your logic there.
drink the results? Well, no. And it all
I'm
comes
passionate
down to
about this one.
Juice. Juice is technically the drink that's made from the natural liquids contained within a fruit or a vegetable. A liquid that is then extracted by squeezing or pressing. Squeeze an orange and drink what comes out. Same thing with pomegranate juice. Drink the liquid that's coming out of the seeds. If a product is labeled and sold as juice, it is legally required for the liquid portion to come from a fruit. This also means that fruit-flavored drinks that you make by mixing a powder with water like Kool-Aid, Tang, or Crystal Light are not juices. And you'll notice that they don't advertise themselves that way. They're not allowed to. If you read the
Kool-Aid
packaging for
juice.
products like this, you'll tend to see stuff like you see on the Crystal Light label here, a sweet alternative to juice. So cross fruit juice off the
Okay.
list. That said, if you do want to try actual coffee juice, it's a thing you can actually make. In fact, that's exactly what a company
What if it's just a drink? Like, are we not even gonna entertain that thought? We still got like 5 minutes left, but are we not gonna like? It's a drink, right? You drink it. You eat soup with a spoon. And technically, you don't even eat it. Like, you can slurp it, you can drink it. The broth, you can eat it if it has vegetables or whatever type of soup it is. Sometimes it's just like tomato soup and just, vegetable soup. Yum. I love soup, actually. Soup's very good. But it's too hot for soup now. Too hot because it's summer. But hey, guys, listen. It's a drink. Okay? That's my verdict.
called Kona Red did. Rather than throwing the outer part of the coffea fruit away after removing the seeds, they took the fruit and squeezed the juice out of them to create a bottled drink that you can no longer buy because they've gone out of business.
Wow.
Apparently, there's a good reason that part of the plant doesn't make it into the cup of joe that you're sipping every morning. So if
please
it's not a
stop.
fruit juice, then what does it make it then? A fruit broth, soup, puree, gruel,
It's a drink.
porridge, gravy? Well, gravy is an easy one to cross off the list. For as delicious as a slow-pouring, thick, viscous coffee gravy might sound,
Oh, that looks good, actually.
delicious. Gravies, by definition, are thickened by adding flour or cornstarch. Definitely not a fit. Porridge and gruel can also be safely crossed off the list for similar reasons. Those are foods that are made from starchy cereal grains. Don't believe everything you see on TikTok, friends.
I'm trying the coconut water berry breakfast cereal. Oh, it's good.
Sorry, Lizzo, that is not cereal. That is a bowl of fruit. Also, why do you put random ice cubes in? I just can't. Anyway, cereals are specifically grasses that are cultivated for their edible grain components, like wheat, rice, and barley. Again, not relevant to coffee. Puree is actually promising. A puree, by definition, is made by taking a fruit or vegetable and pressing,
Okay.
blending, sieving, or grinding it. Sounds like the same set of words you'd use to describe making coffee. However, what knocks puree out of contention is that the point of grinding, pressing, blending, and sieving is that the food can eventually be consumed. You eat a squash puree.
And also, interestingly enough, there's so many different ways to brew coffee. Coffee is so complicated, it is literally an art form. There's so many different ways to do it. No way it's a soup. It's a drink.
not just the liquid that was run through it. But no matter how much you grind those coffee beans, you are not going to be eating those grounds. The reason that we grind them up is to maximize the surface area so that the flavor can leach out into the hot water that's poured through it. If you mixed the coffee grounds into your final beverage, then sure, that could be considered a puree. But if you drink your coffee like a normal, rational person, then no, not gonna cut it. Which brings us down to broth or soup. Let's tackle broth first. This one seems like it might apply.
No.
Broth or bouillon is made by simmering water together with a mixture of other ingredients. And while yes, most coffee is made using boiling water, some preparations involve simmering. For instance, if you use a percolator, the water technically should never reach a boil. But even if we were just simmering our coffee beans, we'd have to contend with the fact that broths tend to describe the products of a simmering meat, fish, or vegetable, which our
Yep.
coffee bean, as we've established, is none of. And with
Not
that,
a
we're
meat.
here. The final option, is coffee a soup? The answer is yes. Yes! Sorry, Dan, but soup is commonly made by boiling the ingredients to extract their flavor, and boiled water is the most common way to make coffee. But that's not all. One of the classic methods of flavoring soup involves adding ingredients to the boiled water that aren't part of the finished product that you eat. It's common for soups to be made with ingredients that are added for flavor and then removed before serving. Ingredients like bones, or spices like bay leaves and rosemary. Exactly what we do with the coffee ground.
Is
But
it?
Is there such a thing as a fruit seed soup? Absolutely. Fruit soups, definitely a thing. Seed soups, also a thing. Squash and nigella seed soup, sunflower seed soup, cotton seed soup, the list goes on and on. But not only are fruit soups and seed soups both a thing, fruit seed soups, also very popular. Search for melon seed soup recipes on Google and you'll get millions of results.
Yeah, but
Stuff
have
like
you ever
chicken
looked
soup,
up
a
how to make
traditional
coffee
West
soup?
African dish, or even more popular, pumpkin.
Guys, I gotta go. I'm rather tired right now. You know, it's rather late and I had a really long shift today. I'm gonna go make me some coffee soup. No! Stop! Please! Destroy my life.
Seed soup, a sweet and creamy dish.
I'm with
The only
Dan,
thing that
man.
keeps this from being a perfect label is the
No.
fact that soup is classically used to describe a food, not a beverage. But hey, with the amount of sugar and syrup that some of us add to our coffees, we've already got enough calories to call it a meal. Yeah, that Starbucks Frappuccino has more calories than the blueberry muffin you're eating.
Yeah, but that Frappuccino also is frozen, which isn't hot, which most soups are. Not all, but also, you know, if you tend to put a soup in a refrigerator, it can still be considered soup, but also, a coffee isn't a soup. It's a drink. You drink it.
So there you have it, friends. Coffee is a fruit seed soup, not vegetable juice or bean broth or a legume mash. It is basically the equivalent of tomato soup. Bring that one up the next time you're delivering someone's Starbucks order. No one's gonna know what you're talking about, but you can rest confident in the knowledge that you are technically correct, which we all know is the best kind of correct. But hey, that's just a theory. A food theory. Bottoms up.
Alright, you know what? As a coffee drinker, I'm going to dismiss that. And notice I say coffee drinker, not souper or drinker of soup. I don't drink soup every day. I drink my coffee, which is a drink. You didn't even consider that. You know what the funny thing is? So, look, I'm not dissing MatPat. I think MatPat's great. I'm just having fun, guys. Like, honestly, right now, I'm literally just having fun. I'm tired. This is my way of relaxing. It's making videos for you guys. And right now, I'm just in a weird mood. But honestly, MatPat's like, he's missing something very important. The fact that, like, he's not even classifying the possibility that a drink is an entire category within itself. Like, sure, there are subcategories, but those are very specific. Like, juice is a subcategory of a drink. You can drink that. You don't typically drink soup. Like, yes, you can. You can slurp the broth. But that's typically, like, not really the purpose of it. It's like an underlining fact afterwards. Like, if you're like, ooh, this is good, I'm just gonna, like, slurp my soup real quick. I'm drinking my soup. Not bean soup, man. It's not coffee soup. It's a coffee drink. It's a beverage. It's a beverage. That's a good classification. It's a beverage. It's a hot beverage. Or cold. I like it cold, okay? This video is way too long, you know. Please, like, subscribe. I've lost my sanity, so please like and subscribe. And please comment below what you guys think. Is coffee a soup? No. If your answer is yes, please explain in depth your reason, other than what he just said, because I didn't agree with it. And I think my rebuttal to it was fantastic. But, no, guys, I'm just having fun. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time.